This is a presentation on multisensory phonics instruction based on our full literature review completed by Rebecca Hayes, Ashley Ivester, and Kelly Wolk. We started our full literature review thinking about problems we see inside of our classrooms, as the researchers involved in this project are all K through 3 classroom teachers. We all came to the consensus that reading was one of our biggest struggles and our biggest focuses because it is so important. And we found from the Learning First Alliance that one of the best predictors of how well students learn to read during their first 2 years of school is their phonemic awareness abilities. And literacy is such an important skill for students to have. And teachers in all grades, but specifically K-5, feel pressured to make sure every student has a solid foundation before sending them on to the next grade, especially with phonemic awareness and reading skills. So as teachers, we were wondering what is the best way to reach every student with effective phonics instruction that is easily differentiated and something that you are able to deliver to the class. One of the problems in America is some of our students are really struggling as readers. According to the Annie E. Casey Foundation, 68% of America's fourth graders read at a below proficient level. So as teachers, we're all working hard to make sure we can get our students up to grade level. One of the important skills for students to have is being able to decode, which refers to their ability to string letters together to make words and words together to make sentences in their spelling, but also in their reading, being able to decode words and make sense of them. So it's necessary for us to equip our students with the skills to decode words and have a solid comprehension. The purpose of this literature review is to present our findings on the multisensory techniques and phonics instruction that are used in elementary classrooms. Our research question that guided our study was, how is multisensory phonics instruction used in elementary classrooms? And we used this as an opportunity to share with the public, but as well with K through 5 teachers on skills that are used, but skills that are effective and show student achievement. Through the review of our literature, we present our findings on some of the theories associated to different learning styles. We start with the multiple intelligence theory by Howard Gardner and how students all learn in different ways. And that led us to multisensory instruction, because through the use of multisensory instruction, we have our auditory students, our visual students, and our kinesthetic students all engaged as they are using those 3 modalities all at the same time. And one of the most specific multisensory instructional techniques we found was the Orton-Gillingham approach, which allows students and teachers to implement this in the classroom, and students are able to use the auditory, visual, and kinesthetic modalities all at the same time. The Orton-Gillingham approach is a systematic, structured instructional tool that has been used with students. Now, what we did find is that when students were exposed to this multisensory instructional technique versus a reading instruction that did not use multisensory strategies, students showed much more growth and achievement with the use of multisensory instruction. However, we did find that many students that were exposed to this were part of a specific subgroup, and we will go into more of that in a few minutes. Some of the other audio, visual, and kinesthetic learning techniques we found were things such as incorporating pictures and videos and flashcards so that learning was memorable. Also using songs, using music and drama, where students are more engaged and required to use different parts of their brains, and they were showing more growth, as well as programs like Reading in Motion, which incorporates music and drama, or sign language. as well as using puppets for retelling skills. Students showed much more growth through the use of these in all of our research that we found. Our methodology, we used the Galileo database, and we used articles that were research-based, peer-reviewed journals within the past 15 years. We focused on using a few key terms in this search. So you'll see we used words such as multisensory, phonics, early elementary literacy instruction, Orton-Gillingham approach, kinesthetic teaching, learning styles. And once we found all of our articles, we used a table to organize our information and list our sources. Once we were able to get our sources all organized, we used color coding to identify themes and commonalities throughout our articles. Throughout this research, we found overall that the use of multisensory strategies in the classroom, including Orton-Gillingham, music for instruction, and drama, showed that these approaches are successful, especially in comparison to approaches that do not use a full multisensory strategy. However, typically, these strategies were only implemented with students of a specific population, such as students with dyslexia, or a identified learning disability. These were used as a remediation tool, but we never saw them used in a general education classroom. So we are hopeful that in the future, research will be completed on the instructional techniques using multisensory strategies inside the general education classroom and how these can benefit all students in our class, not just students that might be falling behind. But instead, how can this help start our students with a great foundation of phonemic awareness before a problem exists? Following, we have some references that were used in our research as well as in our presentation. Thanks for listening.